Hello and welcome to the Just Interesting podcast. The podcast that's not too interesting, it's not boring, it's just interesting enough. And with me today are Robin.
Hello, Martin. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy to be here.
Good. And Alex?
Hi, Martin. You okay?
Still good. Still good.
You still good? Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to hear it.
So, what interesting facts have we got this week? Robin?
Well, this week I learned that, you know, the movie, The Thing.
Oh, The Thing. Oh, yeah. I thought you were just being really general.
Not like The Thing, like wink, wink. No,
What's
The Thing.
the thing about?
John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982, which was based on the short story, or the novella, Who Goes There by John W. Campbell, which was published in 1938, I believe.
Obviously.
I mean, knowledge.
And was first adapted into a film in 1951 known as The Thing from Another World.
Yeah,
And this really is a knowledge one we're dropping on us.
And then it was, there was a prequel / remake of The Thing from 1982 made in released in 2011.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'm a big fan of
I'm
The
more
Thing. There's also a
familiar with
video
the
game from
latest
2002,
Robin
which is really
just
good.
flexing on his knowledge of The Thing.
I like The Thing. What can I say? Well, I'm kind of excited because I've been waiting for it for a long time. They have announced they're making another adaptation of The Thing.
Feature length.
Feature length, proper movie released by Blumhouse Productions, who do all those low budget horrors.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about this one is that, and I didn't know this until this week, which is that in 2018, a sci-fi author and fan of John W. Campbell discovered a full novel-length manuscript called Frozen Hell, which was the original version of the short story published by John W. Campbell in 1938.
Okay.
So they've got the same story, but it was originally a novel, apparently, which he then turned into a novella because he couldn't get the novel published.
So it's more expansive or has different elements to it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably.
I didn't even know if this had been found in 2 years ago, so it might have been published and might be available to be read, or it might be being published alongside the film that's being developed. So I'm actually quite excited to see how it adapts, if the story's substantially different.
Yeah.
So that's what I learned this week.
Nice.
What about you guys?
That's cool, though, that something new has come out after, from something that's quite old now.
Yeah.
So, that's very cool. Imagine, if they just found a sequel to Dracula. Is there a
Yeah,
sequel
that
to
would be
Dracula?
quite,
That kind of thing, yeah.
I mean, it could be that the original manuscript is rubbish. And they're
I mean,
working
yes,
off a terrible,
it could be all the extra
text.
chapters are just not worth it. Yeah,
Just padding.
We'll find out.
Alex, how did you get on this week?
Well, Robin, have you heard of the film Mr. 880?
Mr. 880?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
It was a 1950s film that was based on a true story. And this week I learned about a counterfeiter, this elderly man who counterfeited dollar bills, just $1 bills, by the name of Emmerich Jutner.
Not the most profitable.
Not the most profitable, no. He only made $1 bills to support himself and his dog, just so they could get by. But the Secret Service spent 10 years trying to find this man.
Wow.
And eventually a movie came out about him, this Mr. 880, and he made more money from that than he ever did from counterfeiting. So
because he sold his story?
Yeah, somehow he got royalties from it, which is incredible.
So I imagine him counterfeit. What years was he counterfeiting? Was it way back when in the 50s? Do you think?
It was...
The movie was the 50s, but he must have been before then, I guess.
Yeah.
So a dollar was worth a lot more back then, I take it.
I guess so.
So anything above a dollar
true.
might have caused a bit of suspicion.
Yeah, he was apparently very careful where he spent his dollar bills, and he would never spend them in more than one in each establishment.
Yeah,
so
the reason being
he
he didn't want to rip people off, I take it?
Yeah, I think that was it. I think he didn't want to cause people serious, financial distress.
Yeah.
I think he's seen as a kind of like a, hero taking down the government.
He's not taking anything down.
No, he's not. He's not.
Counterfeiting dollar bills.
But it's bizarre, isn't it, that he was kind of rewarded for that in a way.
In the end. But then there's been plenty of cases where that's happened, right? With Jordan Belfort.
The
Wolf of Wall Street, who's now suing.
Yeah, for $300 million, right?
Which is what it made, right? The Wolf of Wall Street in the
it made
theatres.
just over $300 million.
Yeah.
Frank Abagnale as well from Catch Me If You Can, who was also counterfeiting and then got caught for it, went to jail, but then became an informant for the FBI.
Not only got a job, but also then the royalties from the movie.
Yeah, and then he started a security company and he's now like a multi-millionaire. Yeah.
Doing talks and speeches and
exactly.
So the moral of the story is commit crimes that don't really harm anybody, become famous, get played by Leonardo DiCaprio, become a millionaire.
Yeah, commit crimes as long as you can get a book deal afterwards.
Okay,
Yeah,
the campaign starts here. I'm starting a petition to get Leo DiCaprio to play this guy, Mr. 880.
Nice, yeah. I mean, it was made into a film, so it could be remade. Who
Time
knows?
to be remade. Come on, Scorsese, get on it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I learned this week, to start counterfeiting money.
Very
So,
good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good.
You're going to start counterfeiting £1 notes.
£1.
Do it.
Yeah.
Slightly
Exactly.
outdated, but hey. This week I learnt about an amazing person who did amazing things during the Holocaust. It's Holocaust Memorial Week. It was just passed. To save thousands of lives during the Second World War.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
He was a man by the name of Dr. Eugene Lazowski.
Mhm.
And he made an entire typhus epidemic, or a fake typhus epidemic, to stop people going to the concentration camps. So he made up
That is
that thousands of
genius.
people had typhus because the Nazis were so concerned about the spread of disease amongst in Germany amongst German citizens
Yeah.
that they quarantined these people and didn't send them to the death camps.
Right.
Wow.
Instead kept them there, and many of these people survived as a result of him creating this fake typhus. So he put his life at risk, of course,
Yeah.
in order to do this. Just an amazing person.
And they didn't catch on to the fact
No,
that he got
so
away
this,
with it.
he was in Poland when the Nazis invaded, and served as a doctor in the Polish army. And then when the Nazis invaded in Blitzkrieg, he basically made up this
great.
this
That is-
amazing story and managed to uphold it throughout this time to save all
My
these
gosh.
lives.
Wow.
It's
That's
incredible.
Did they not
feat.
get suspicious when none of the people showed symptoms or
I think-
died?
I imagine that he was involved in keeping them quarantined and said these people cannot go as a result of this.
Yeah.
And so they were like, okay, well, hands off from us. We don't want to be near them, because the Nazis were very, very concerned about health. And
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So just
That's clever. That's so
That's
Story.
very
clever.
I mean, there's so many
Nice.
stories of people saving lives, of course. There's Oskar Schindler and various others, but this one stood out because it was such an extreme measure, and using his skills as a
Yeah.
doctor to be able to do it, using everything he
Outwitting
had.
them, yeah.
Yeah,
That
amazing.
deserves a film.
That does deserve a film. The petition starts
Yeah.
today. Get Leo DiCaprio to play this doctor. No, not Leo
Yes.
DiCaprio.
Let's get Leo DiCaprio
What would
to
the
play
film
a
be called?
Polish doctor.
It would be called, what was his name?
Eugene Lazowski.
Yeah, Lazowski's arc doesn't quite have the same
No.
ring to it.
What about
Nazi typhus, Holocaust saving lives. It's catchy, catchy.
Is it?
yes. I can't think of anything.
You need
now.
some kind of poetic phrase that symbolizes the message of the film, but actually doesn't really mean anything clear
Yeah.
on itself. So you see it on the cover, and you're like, oh, that
The
looks
Good
like
Doctor.
a really, something like that, but even more vague than that. You know,
Yes.
something intriguing, but that sounds important and worthy.
The lightest days.
That's there you go.
There
The
you go.
lightest days.
The lightest days.
Nice.
There you,
Done.
that's perfect.
It needs to have
Yeah.
some relation to the plague, though. You know, like the.
We can write the line.
It doesn't really,
We
does it?
we just-
We'll just change the real
you have
story.
you have a scene with a family who you cut back to occasionally, and then one day that the father's trying to comfort the daughter and says, we're holding on until we see the light again. Look forward to the lightest days.
Do you know
And
what?
then
I
just
hate.
kinda-
I hate that. I hate when like a movie title comes up in a bit of dialogue
You
or
love it
something.
too.
It's
It
just
happens in every Fast and Furious movie, Alex.
no, it doesn't.
That's one way
My
to
favourite
trick
one is
out.
No, it doesn't. They never say I'm fast and furious.
My favourite was
so
the third
fast.
one. You're like, it's time to go Fast and Furious, Tokyo Drift. Yeah.
Hey, I'm too fast, too furious.
Amazing.
That's
Amazing.
a lie.
Okay, that's a great.
Don't
great
let Robin
story.
slander
Yeah.
Fast and Furious films.
That could be made into a film. A film that's better than
Fast and Furious. Oh no, your story. Sorry, yes, it could.
Oh.
Put some drifting in it, or I'm not interested.
I reckon it's time to thank our patrons
I think
for
it
their
is.
support.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
think I've just lost 10.
No, seriously, the support has been absolutely fantastic, and we're making more and more content for the Patreon to
We are,
satisfy
yeah.
your desires. So if you like the sound of that, head on over and take a look at what we've got over there.
In the timeless words of Ray Charles and Clint Eastwood, beers to you.
So, guys, I've got a weird news story for you that may interest you and may interest you at home if you've got a interest in mysteries and famous conspiracy theories.
Oh.
Well, I think lots of people do.
There has been a new sighting of Bigfoot
Another what?
A new sighting of
Where?
Bigfoot. Sherman Pass in Washington.
Always Washington.
Oh.
Washington or Florida, isn't it? The
Canadian
main-
border. Bigfoot. He's
Yeah,
a
and
Canadian.
it's around Oregon as well.
California,
And
Oregon,
anywhere with
yeah.
like good forests.
Yeah.
He gets around everywhere, doesn't he? Texas has some Bigfoot sightings. It's mad. But the Washington State Department of Transportation isn't too superstitious, apparently.
Oh.
But they're scratching their heads after seeing something strange on one of their cameras. The agency tweeted photos showing a bipedal figure resembling Bigfoot. The photos show a dark figure standing by a tree. Would you like to see it?
Yes, please.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, it's quite far
So it's a
away.
picture of some kind of snowy landscape, and there's a road, and it's at night presumably because there's a car with its lights on driving away from the camera. But behind a clump of trees, but on the side of the camera, there is a figure
shadowy figure.
definitely walking on
It's
2
definitely
feet.
a person.
Is it?
And
Or
it's
it's like a figure.
very
It's definitely a
dark.
person.
But I mean, it could be. This is the problem. Like, it could be a human being. It doesn't have to be Bigfoot.
Yeah,
to
it
me,
could be.
To me, it doesn't seem necessarily furry or big enough.
It looks almost like it's been drawn onto
It almost looks like it's fake, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's my issue with this.
Who's this sent through? State Department, Transportation.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
you would think that it's genuine. However, there's another interesting point.
You would think
This-
that it's genuine.
Well, no, you
We're
would
all
think.
saying it's probably not genuine.
No,
I'm saying like you think that
Coming
it's come
from
from a
them.
reliable
Oh, I see.
source coming
Okay.
from them.
Yeah.
But there's something interesting about this. This is a live camera. This isn't just someone's taking a quick picture.
Okay.
Right.
That figure's still there.
Oh.
It's still there on the camera.
What?
So you can go to the website, look at the live camera, and if it's not at night time, you'll
Oh.
see that figure there. So what's the deal? What's happened?
So what?
What do you mean? So it's overlaid there all the time.
You look on the camera, and he's there.
Does it take still images or is it a video camera?
I'm not sure. It may be like a one frame every 30 seconds, that kind
But
of
there
thing.
is a live feed.
I
And
think
the
there is
figure
a live
hasn't
feed.
moved. So it's clearly fake then.
I mean, that looks
But
like
then
from there. It looks like it's walking, right? It looks like it's moving.
It looks like it's walking. But then, yeah, what?
Either someone has like drawn on a transparent piece of like a
Hung it in front of the camera.
transparent film and hung it
Yeah.
in front of the camera, I'm thinking.
So
How
this seems
strange.
like it's definitely fake, right?
Yeah. If it's still
I'm going
there.
to say that's probably fake.
But
Yeah.
is it a
looking-
cardboard cutout and why?
Or it could be a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
That
But
could be
the
another.
Department of Transportation, why would they be needing to drive people to this live stream? Or why would they be needing to get this PR and publicity?
Could they possibly have hired a new intern or a new recruit? It's like, you're in charge of our social media and our website feed. And they're like, I'm going to drive traffic.
I mean, in
Bigfoot.
fairness, if it's an intern, I'm sure they're doing a good job. It's got 8,000 likes on Twitter, 5,000
Whoa.
people are talking about
Fair
it.
enough.
So it's
Whoa.
fair enough. It's done pretty well. Yeah. So I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think it's fake?
It looks,
Well, if it's
it
still
looks-
there,
if it's still there. That's
then,
the
yeah.
defining thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely fake. And it looks a bit dodgy. It looks like it's been drawn on. It's just so dark and kind of the contrast with the background is too high.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that's at a different time of day.
yeah.
Is it doing the
Oh, definitely.
rounds on conspiracy social media? Do we know?
Well, this was actually sent to my Twitter, so by someone. I can tell you who it was. In fairness, so yeah, thank you for sending it through to me. But yeah,
Seems like it probably isn't real.
Yeah.
probably not real.
But
Yeah,
then the question is, why did they do it?
Mm-hmm.
It
I
puts
reckon you're right. I reckon it's maybe promoting their parks, their national parks, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, they wouldn't bother having a Twitter presence if they didn't want anyone to go and visit it, right?
No,
Yeah.
that's true.
And bother having the live
Yeah.
stream if no one watched it.
That's
It's
It's
also
all about
true.
traffic.
Yeah.
this was sent through by Alex Garcia on Twitter, so thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Alex.
Thank you.
And if you've got any other weird news stories, feel free to send them through to us. We love them.
Yeah. Please do.
I'm at Alex Brown ATC.
At All Time Martin.
At All Time Robin.
There we go.
Yeah, please send it through. And don't forget our official channel Twitter feed, which is at JInterestingYT.
Yes, for
For
YouTube.
For just interesting.
Best
Yes.
best name I could come up with.
No, it was
Best
good.
handle.
It was fine.
The
Yeah.
issue, Alex, is the lack of names that you can actually have that aren't taken, and also the maximum characters you can have as well.
Yeah.
We should
But
have called it just
it's
interesting,
It's
should
a
we?
little bit quirky
Yeah.
because of the character limit. But, Well, what's your story, Martin?
So this week I learnt about a man who has headaches that made him vomit.
Oh.
That was pretty nasty. I must
Horrible.
be thinking, why the hell is this going on, right? So he had these headaches gradually got worse and worse over a decade span. So he started having them, and the doctors
Like migraines.
Yeah. So he started to have. So they weren't sure what was going on. So after a little while, he went to the doctors and said, "Okay, this is really, really becoming an issue. I'm having such painful headaches that are making me physically sick." Turns out he has a tapeworm in his head.
Oh God!
And it's been there for 10 years.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
No.
I thought tapeworms were being like your stomach.
I thought
right?
your
intestinal.
intestines.
Yeah.
He had a tapeworm in his head.
Ah.
For 10 years.
Ah.
So
So
been
it's-
eating his brain.
It's thought that he'd contracted it from pork he ate in Mexico.
Oh.
How
And,
did it get in his brain?
I know it's pretty horrendous. So Gerardo, this is the bloke, said that he had been feeling off for months before he had the MRI scan. Feeling off is like, yeah, a tapeworm in your head, that would do that.
Oh my God.
And he'd
Poor
fainted,
guy.
and then it would come back positive for him having a tapeworm.
Bloody
It's
hell.
absolutely mad.
So what was it eating, though? Was it actually eating his brain? Because I thought they were in your intestines because they eat the food that you...
Exactly.
No wonder he had headaches, because the tapeworm must be squeezing his brain in.
Oh my God.
So it doesn't actually say.
Really horrible thing.
That can't be good for you. Like, I mean,
No.
obviously not, but I mean,
Some serious brain damage, presumably.
So so he had this tapeworm removed, and apparently he's feeling fine as a
How
result.
did they get it out? Through
It
the
was
nose?
really complex surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, they must either through. Well, I doubt it. Right?
I suppose actually,
They
yeah,
probably
they
have
could...
to open up.
Yeah.
Keyhole. The remarkable thing is that his sister had a similar tapeworm in her brain years earlier.
what?
So it's not even the
Hang on.
first tapeworm in that family, in one of the members of that family's brain.
No, no, I don't buy the story now. I don't buy the pork story. It's not the food, is it? Something's gone wrong
Always
there.
with that family. Yeah.
I know.
Tapeworms in their heads.
Yeah.
Someone's put a tapeworm in through their ear or something like that.
Isn't that remarkable, though?
Yeah.
I mean, not a ton of information's given as to his sister's story and how the tapeworm survived in there. I imagine it must have been eating something, right? Which it doesn't bear thinking about when it's in your brain.
pouring food into his ear.
Yeah,
For
but
Oh.
yeah, just absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse actually than tapeworm in your brain.
Yeah, it's a new low for,
In terms
for
of where
terrible things.
tapeworms could go,
Yeah.
maybe one worse
Yeah,
place.
one of the best, yeah.
But it's right up there.
I confess, one of my long-standing fears is tapeworms. I'm not
You're
a
thinking
phobic.
like, have I got
I'm not phobic, but yeah, occasionally I'm just like,
step on
do
the
I-
scales, like lose a pound, you're like,
Do I have a tapeworm?
Probably a tapeworm.
Yeah, and the problem with tapeworms is if you look at the symptoms online, they're everything.
yeah.
Like, do you
It's like feeling hungry, feeling nauseous,
Yeah.
loss
Bit
of appetite,
bit of
wanting
yeah.
more appetite, wanting to eat more. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's the-
sleepless nights,
Yeah.
sleepful nights?
most
What's going
things
on?
are you living
Too
like.
restful.
everything.
Imagine
Yeah.
feeling too restful and being like something's wrong.
You're just like
I had a great night's sleep.
at the bottom of the list of symptoms for tapeworms is alive. Are you alive? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
no,
it's a symptom,
because they
yeah.
used to. I don't know if they still do this, but they used to tease them out with that was with the Victorians. I think they had a little bit of lead and it was hollow, and they used to put some little food in the lead. So what you do is the patient with the tapeworm would open their mouth wide, and
Yeah.
they'd drop this lead on a string down to the throat, and the tapeworm would come up to eat, and then they'd very gently tease it out.
Actually did that.
Yeah, that's how they used to do it. I don't know how they do it now, but they used to tease out the tapeworm through the throat and just pull it.
So
They'd
that what was on the lead?
I don't know actually what kind of food they used to tease it with.
Because you got to be thinking, is that better than the place they've tried to host? Because they've gone in there for a reason, right?
Yeah.
In the intestines usually is obviously the perfect kind of.
Well, apparently, maybe this was just olden times because it would go undiagnosed for so long. Apparently, tapeworms used to quite commonly come up was it not the trachea? That's the
Esophagus.
Visual windpipe, isn't it?
esophagus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whichever one isn't your windpipe, they'd come up the food pipe
Oh god.
quite frequently.
Oh God.
And then obviously as they got bigger and bigger and bigger, they
Oh my
need
God.
room to live. So yeah, So they used
This
to
is
tease them out.
disgusting.
Then you have to pull them out really
So
carefully,
sorry
of
for
course,
I'm
because
I'm just imagining this insane
Yeah.
scene of people literally fishing down someone's throat for a tapeworm.
And then putting it.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
got something.
Just coming out.
exactly,
Oh.
and pulling it really
Oh.
gently because obviously it's very
Yeah.
fragile. So if you split it, you just leave the
And
rest
it's
of the
also stuck
tapeworm.
around your intestines most likely as well, which is dangerous.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think now they just take a pill. Just take a pill and it just
kills
kills
it.
it.
kills
Just
it.
kills it and
That
disintegrates it.
makes more sense. Yeah.
Much better.
Yeah.
Does anyone
Thanks
else
for that,
have a news
Martin.
story?
Yeah, well, I have a news
Thank you
story.
for
Yes,
that.
let me share it. Mine's slightly saucier, and hopefully,
Saucier than a tapeworm.
Saucy.
hopefully, we'll
So-
put the tapeworm out of your mind. So, a Utah judge has refused to overturn a lewdness charge against a woman called Tilly Buchanan, who was topless whilst hanging up clothes to dry and was seen by her stepchildren. And a
Right,
neighbour
okay.
called her in, and she was charged with lewd behaviour, which is a crime in Utah.
What?
In Utah.
Yeah,
Is Utah
Come
quite
on,
conservative?
Utah. That's lame.
apparently.
That's
So,
such a lame thing for the neighbour to do, isn't it?
so Judge Cara Pettit sided with prosecutors who argued that lewdness is commonly understood to include women's breasts in American society. Judges should not second guess what lawmakers have decided is lewd, which is why the case is
But
going to trial.
But the judges, they're meant to interpret the law.
You'd think so, but if so, she'll go to trial, and if she's convicted, she will face jail time and potentially up to 10 years,
No.
No.
This is
10
mad. It's
years
gonna
in
be
jail.
thrown out,
and she'll have to
surely.
register as a sex offender
What?
because her stepchildren
Can't really-
saw her when she was topless in the garage, hanging up clothes to dry. And the reason,
That's in her property.
in
then
her
as
own
well.
home. The reason she was seen was because the garage door was open and the neighbours saw her
What?
and saw the children go in.
That's madness.
And even better, she wasn't hanging up the washing alone. She was with her husband, who was also topless.
Oh, right.
But he's
okay.
not being charged.
Yes, of course.
She is
Yeah,
being
right.
charged.
Man, that's just this.
Wow.
There's just so much wrong with that, isn't there?
There's so much wrong with that.
Was that just so petty?
That
How
makes me
petty is
sick,
that?
but in a very different way than the Martin story.
Oh.
That's so
Well,
petty.
I imagine,
Come on,
I
Utah.
imagine
sort it
she
out.
won't be charged, right?
I would hope not.
I
But
hope
the judge
not.
hasn't thrown out the case, so
No.
it's going to have to go to trial, which is crazy.
Yeah. Surely, if anything, you'd be like, this is kind of stupid. Here's a $200 fine.
Yeah.
Don't do it again for some, because whatever you feel, according to the law of the land, you can't do that. Whatever, blah, 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 blah. If the judge wants to be literally by the book, by the letter of the law, maybe they need to change the laws, but that would be more appropriate than wasting everyone's time and resources going to a trial.
Yeah. What's the point in sentencing her to 10 years in jail? Imagine if she got that. That would be insane.
She won't.
No, she won't.
No.
Especially if she has stepchildren. I imagine, it didn't say the ages, but I imagine they're a fair bit younger. We don't want to split up a family based on that.
I hope not.
And I imagine, so the issue was that she had this lewd act in front of the stepchildren, not in front of a neighbour.
It was, the stepchildren were it was exposing herself to minors is the charge, I believe. Something like that.
But if you're in your own house, surely that may well happen whether warranted or wanted or not by accident. It's not, as long as she wasn't purposefully doing it as like a kind of sexual predator thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Then what's the issue?
I don't
Just
understand the issue.
Yeah, that can happen by mistake, just
Sure,
naturally,
yeah.
right?
Oh, I must confess, I've misreported things. It wasn't a neighbour who saw her. It wasn't a neighbour who filed the charges. The charges against her were filed when the mother herself admitted the incident to child welfare officials,
Right.
who were working on a separate investigation that involved their children.
Okay. All right, this has become a bit more complicated now then.
Yeah.
What I don't know is what that incident was, but it's still the principle of the thing stands, I would say.
Yes.
That she was in her own home with her husband, who was also topless. Her own children, admittedly not her biological children, but her own family saw her topless. So why should she be charged with a lewd act, except that the law apparently says it is lewd?
Yes.
That's an issue.
Agreed.
Yeah,
With that, I mean,
agreed.
the rest of it, I mean, of course, this charge shouldn't be based on previous charges or other investigations, right? It should be
Yes,
seen as a separate.
If there's a separate investigation going on for another incident, then that should stand on its own, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what do you think? Do you think this judge is very conservative and
Sounds like
a little
doesn't
bit?
it?
Or do you think maybe the judge is playing some kind of game and saying it's not up to us to say what is lewd under the law, it's up to the lawmakers to define what a lewd act is? And it's like, if this goes to trial, then it becomes an official thing, right? It becomes a big issue. Whereas if she just throws it out of court, then it's not a big issue.
So you're saying that they want to make it a bigger thing so it becomes an issue?
Potentially. Do you think that? Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, I doubt it, to be honest. It just that sounds like, there's a bit of double standards there.
Would the judge put everyone through a trial just for that point? Because from a personal point of view, with her and her stepchildren, whoever else was involved, it's not going to be a nice thing to do. You're almost using somebody's case to make a point.
For that reason.
Yeah.
A case that they would have to pay
The legal fees
Yeah,
will be huge.
exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very constitutional.
No.
No. So that was my weird story.
That was
It's
weird.
crazy. Yeah.
It was indeed. It was
Weird,
indeed.
Utah. Weird. Cool.
Utah, you crazy.
What's our question of the week again?
Moving on from that. So this week's weird question comes from our patron, VIP, Chris McCrate.
Yeah, hey.
Oh, thank
Hello,
you very
Chris.
much.
And Chris would like us to talk a little bit about the Devil's Bible. And so I thought we'd frame this as, why would the devil write this piece of work?
Yeah, we've spoken about this before on our previous
We have.
podcast.
In fact,
That's from days past now. But yeah, it's a very interesting story. I think you spoke about it.
Yes,
I
Robin.
did.
It was,
So a little bit of background
yes.
detail would be that there's a Bible currently in Sweden, in Stockholm, I think, which is about 3 feet by 3 feet in dimensions. It's a huge book, but it was made in the 13th century by a Bohemian monk, so living in modern-day Czech Republic, I think, somewhere around there. Bohemia was sacked by the Swedish army, and they took the book back to Sweden, which is why it's there now. And in this book, it contains both the Old and the New Testaments. It contains a whole raft of Greek and Latin texts, I think, and some Hebrew texts, all very religious. And on one page, an entire page is just dedicated to an image of the devil.
it's a pretty scary image as well, right?
Yeah, pretty...
It's about 50 centimeters tall, isn't it?
Something like that,
So
yeah.
it takes up around half the page.
No, it's the whole page. Oh, you mean the devil? There's
Yeah,
about 50 centimeters. Yeah, and there's like a border around
Yes,
the devil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Red
But the whole
claws.
page is the portrait of the devil. Yeah, he's really frightening too.
Yeah.
Very unique.
The royal pants, royal underwear.
Yeah. And what's interesting about this book as well is that it would take, I think I've got a quotation actually, from one of the curators of the book. It says, to make this book such a big book, things were expensive and hard to do back in the 13th century, especially when it came to books. And they say that if the scribe worked for 6 hours a day and wrote 6 days a week, this book would have taken about 5 years to complete.
That's like non-stop as well, right?
Non-stop, yeah. But the scribe was a monk, so he may have only been able to work for about 3 hours a day. This means that the manuscript would have taken 10 years to write.
Mm-hmm.
And the scribe may also have ruled the lines to guide the writing to make it nice and neat, so he probably did. And that took several hours to do for each page. So that means it probably took at least 20 years and could have taken at least 30 to make. Yeah.
But the thing about the book is it's so uniform, right? Like it doesn't look like it. The writing doesn't look like it's changed through time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the writing
true.
looks like
That's
it's the same person writing it, and there's no evidence of the person getting older. Because normally when the same person's handwriting has been in a book, there are many other books made by monks, and they know that they can tell when someone's getting older and it gets a bit wobbly, gets a bit less neat, gets a bit scruffy. Or, more often the case, when a book takes that long to make, 20 or 30 years, one of the scribes dies.
In this time period,
someone else takes over.
Or you get a couple of people working on it because that makes sense to do.
Yeah,
to get it
this
completed.
speeds things up. But this is definitely all the work of one person. And like you say, consistently working to the same high standard, which suggests that they did it in a very short period of time, which has given rise to a story that may explain why this book exists.
And why this picture of the devil exists on this page.
Yeah.
The Legend of Codex Gigas, which is the name of the book, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Codex, Gigas, I don't know exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so the story goes that this monk in the medieval times broke his monastic vows. And so as a punishment, he was going to be walled up alive. So put in a very, very small room 4 walls very close together, which was a pretty horrible punishment.
Yeah.
And so to try and get out of this punishment, he said, okay, I'm going to create the most magnificent book, because of course books are very expensive and they take a long time to make. And he said, I'm going to create this by midnight. It's going to be the most magnificent book you've ever seen, and you can have this as a kind of a repentance for what he had done, and to try and get out of this punishment. And so the monk, according to the legend, is writing this book throughout the day, and then it gets to the evening and he's thinking, it's taking a little while, and then it gets closer to midnight and he's thinking, okay, this isn't going to get done. I'm going to be stuck in this room. I'm going to be walled up alive for the rest of my life because of what I've done.
And his life isn't going to be very long.
It's not going to be very long if he can't move. Yeah, exactly. So, according to the legend, he asks a favor from the devil, from Satan himself, to help him finish this book on time. A book that should take 20 years by midnight in order to get out of this horrible punishment. And so,
see, I tried to do the same thing with my dissertation. I tried to summon the devil, and it didn't work. He didn't show up.
And so it gets past midnight, and he summons the devil, and the devil helps him complete this book in time so that he can be free. But as a kind of a thank you to Satan, he creates this picture, or the devil creates this picture. It doesn't actually say who creates the picture, but there is this image of the devil in the book. And I believe that some pages around this picture of the devil were missing as well. Well, they were supposed to potentially be a prayer to Satan himself.
That's correct, yes.
That were removed. So there's a little bit of mystery around why these pages were removed, who by, and what was actually there.
Yeah.
But it does leave us with the question, why would Satan want to help this monk?
Yeah.
Is he selling his soul to Satan?
Well, that's the traditional thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, I'll do this for your soul. You know, I'll save.
Yeah. Do you think Satan puts higher value on monks' souls than ordinary people's?
Maybe
a trophy.
yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's like a trophy. You know, the higher they fall, then the better it is for Satan.
That's the phrase. The higher they fall, the better it is.
The better it is for Satan. That's what all of the devils say in hell. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what everyone says. Everyone says that.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, what does the devil get out of this? I mean, we're talking about it today, right?
Yeah, we are. That's true.
We're giving good publicity for Satan.
Yeah. What are the devil's goals? Does he doesn't value material things, does he?
Well, if he's getting a book written, it's not about him, but like if he's, getting mentioned a lot with a prayer in a book at this time period, like a massive important book, that's surely good for him as well. You know, he's definitely going to get people to start worshipping him after that. Like we're talking about it, 700 years later. So
publicity. Like I said, because the classic difference between God and the devil is God is very standoffish. He's like, I'm here, you come to me, I'll forgive you, but you have to believe in me.
Like a little bit omnipotence.
Yeah. And that kind of, he's not immanent is the phrase. He's not active in the world, traditionally. And whereas the devil is always like whispering in your ear and saying, I'm here, I can give you this, I can give you this, I'm more powerful, God is false, all that stuff. So, yeah, this is a great example to say, look, I'm in a book.
I've got my own book.
I got my own book, my own Bible.
And it's bigger than the actual Bible. So,
It's true, this is like a 75 kilo book, right?
Oh, gosh, huge. And there aren't many illustrations in it, and I don't think there are any of God. Is that correct?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think really any of men, apart from the bloke who was it? One of the people who wrote one of the scriptures within the book, and then there's also a picture of a squirrel, if I remember correctly. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's
the bloke who wrote the book, a squirrel, and,
and then a massive picture of the devil. Yeah, those three ticked off the list.
It's a perfect combination. Every Bible has those pictures. It's weird, isn't it? It's very weird that he just spends so long, presumably, on a picture of the devil in a Bible for monks to read through. And he himself was probably a monk, unless the story's true.
Yeah, and also you're already being accused of wrongdoing. Do you really want to shop with a big book featuring the devil in it?
Yeah, there you go.
That's not gonna.
Or maybe
it's not
he's
gonna
like,
get you out of your
here's your book,
sentence.
and they're like, what's this page doing? He's like, who put that there?
Oh, what?
No idea. Yeah,
I mean,
if
if we remove the legend for a second, because yes. You could, some people believe that was the case, that he made this bargain with the devil. What is that picture doing in there? Because it's not surrounded by any text. Yes, some pages before have been ripped out, which may include some kind of at least a description as to what the image means or resembles. But with all the other pages of the book, there's at least some kind of intonation as to what the images on the page mean. Whereas this, there's nothing. There's no description. There's nothing. And is that on purpose?
Creepy, isn't it? Yeah.
Is that on purpose? Is it to say, well, everyone knows what this is. This is evil. Nothing else needs to be said about it.
Could be. Yeah, that's a good... I like that. I like that idea that maybe it's just... it's there, and maybe the ripped out pages were actually intentional, even if there was nothing originally on them. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's not worth talking about. Is the author's message there? Maybe
Unless that's part of Satan's gambit. You know, it's like,
Satan has torn out those pages.
What was his true motive? Was he trying to give people a way to summon him, as the rumor suggests, with the missing pages, or is he just trying to mess with us all and make us doubt religious institutions and God's existence? Because if the devil can put himself in a Bible held at the center of a monastery, and a very grand Bible as well, that would have normally taken a lot of effort, then he can undermine religion. He just, and like I say, we're still talking about it, and otherwise we wouldn't be talking about a Bible from the Czech Republic.
No, of course.
There's probably thousands, if not millions, of Bibles in the Czech Republic, and we don't talk about any of them.
And some people would, just because of its grandeur, but most people wouldn't. It certainly wouldn't become mainstream or any kind of
pop.
In
fact, it's not even on display, I don't think.
It's not?
No, I think you can view it, obviously, and they've taken pictures of the book and put them online, but I don't think you can actually... I don't think it's on display officially because it's too fragile. But, a little bit. But I like the fact that it was looted by the Swedish army in the middle of I love looting.
I love pillaging.
I love the fact that there's something about this story with the Devil's Bible that it feels appropriate that it should have been seized by an army ransacking the monastery. You know, it just kind of feels right.
Yeah, there's something poetic about that. Yeah.
It's also like how it survived for this long as well. I mean, it's a very big, you'd see it and it would be like a big important book that you would think, okay, that's worth saving. But it's surprising that it was kept after, I don't know, the monks kept it, like, despite having this image of Satan. Or the fact that there were pages ripped out, but not this page, the picture, the big picture of Satan. You would think that would be the first thing to go. And it makes you wonder what was on the other pages.
I wonder what they thought at the time of this. Whether they knew.
Gary,
exactly
what have you done? I knew it was a right idea to wall you up, and now you've done this.
But like going down in history.
Get in the wall.
I mean, this urban legends, it's obviously come from somewhere. I mean, I imagine that maybe someone involved in writing it had been put in this four walls for breaking the monastery, the codes of the monastery. With all these things, there tends to be a little bit of truth there somewhere. But then through time, it's
it's a very specific story, isn't it? To come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There'll be elements.
Maybe he got walled up because they were writing this Bible for decades, however long, and then this guy came along, this monk, and just drew a massive picture of Satan.
No, he drew like 7 pictures of Satan. They ripped out the other 6 and they left that one by mistake.
They were like, actually, this one is quite good.
We'll leave this one.
And they were like, you've ruined our decades worth of work, and that's why you got walled up. Maybe that's the origin of the story.
Maybe.
Well, what do you guys think at home? Please let us know either in the comments below on YouTube or get us in touch with us on Patreon. If you're a supporter, please do send us your thoughts in a private message or hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Alltime Robin.
At Alltime Martin.
At Alex Brown ATC.
Or you can hit the channel page, which is at JInterestingYT.
We're still getting used to that.
Still getting used to that. But
We'll get there. We'll get there. Are you guys ready for a quiz?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so 10 questions and a bonus question as it's been for about 2 years. Buzzers, please. Robin, go for yours.
Of course.
M. Bison from the Street Fighter movie.
Of course.
Obviously.
Of course. Yeah. And Alex.
Well, I've gone for one of the funniest moments in Come Down With Me history. I don't know if people are aware of Come Down With Me. People win £1,000. They have
describing Come Down With Me. Go on.
They have like dinner parties. They don't know each other, and they rate each other's dinner parties. And whoever wins at the end of the week gets £1,000. And this guy is reading out the results, and he's super upset with
the ratings.
The person who won. Yeah.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane. You ruined my night completely so you could have the money, but I hope now you spend it on getting some lessons in grace and decorum, because you have all the grace of a reversing dump truck without any tyres on.
There you go. Sorry,
Beautiful.
that was a bit long, but
It's fine.
it's
It's
worth
fine.
it.
It's a good clip.
It's worth it.
yeah.
That
For
is quality.
£1,000.
Okay,
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
Jane. Jane.
Yeah.
Okay, question number 1.
I really need this win. I haven't won a single quiz yet.
This will be a closest wins.
Okay.
How many days did Italy's last king, King Umberto II, rule for?
I don't
Oh,
even.
this
How
is
could?
just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you guess first.
16 days.
Oh, okay.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
I know I'm being a bit of a dick, but 17 days.
Alex wins. It's 36 days.
See, I mean, in
36
fairness,
days.
yeah.
Well done.
What do you mean, in fairness?
In fairness,
In fairness, what?
well, it wasn't like it was going to be 20 years. It was like it was
No.
only a couple of weeks longer.
Okay, this one's also a closest wins, but Alex, you have to go first this time.
Okay.
Number
Fair.
2. How many counties are there in England?
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a good question.
How many counties are there in England?
Yes, in England. In England, in unpleasant land. It's Jerusalem. Perfect rendition.
I don't know. I'm going to go for something.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
Is it like 17?
17, okay.
I don't know.
Closest wins, you said? Okay, 18.
Guys, it's 48.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm amazed you went with 17.
There's like 17, like, around London.
Counties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know my English counties.
Clearly.
In
yeah.
fairness, I'm better. I think I'm probably better at US
What would you,
states.
what
American
would
states,
you, what
yeah.
would you have guessed? I mean, that's,
I would have
it's
gone.
always-
I actually would have gone for 50 because I don't know the precise number, but I know that it's
yeah.
in the region.
It's true. We don't really talk about the number of counties like the Americans.
We don't
talk
have
about
that
the
kind
states.
of
I guess
education.
it's actually on the flag, isn't it, in the States, whereas
That's
we
true.
have the counties on our flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they all sound the same as well. They're all
Shire, Shire.
Shire.
Apart from Kent, the best county in the whole of the country.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You're joking, mate.
You're joking.
I am
You're
joking.
You're
I am
actually
joking.
joking.
Best count is
That's where I
Anglesey.
grew up.
It's not even a county.
Question number 3. Loch Ness, Alex,
Oh.
is of course the most famous loch in Scotland. But what is the largest loch?
Oh.
I've literally just been to Edinburgh. Well, and
Loch Ness,
I've done
yeah.
like a Highlands tour.
Yeah.
Does it begin with L? Not Loch, obviously, but
You can't ask that
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
okay.
question. You
Well,
got
it
to
would
guess.
give you both a clue,
Got to
wouldn't it?
guess. Yeah. Well, a loch would be Loch Lomond.
That is right.
Damn it! Yeah,
did
that,
begin with L.
yeah. I knew it began
Yeah.
with L.
Yeah.
Loch.
Okay.
Lomond.
Very good.
Okay, there we are.
2-1. Question. No, yes. 2-1. Question number 4. What year was the French Revolution?
Of course.
Good question. I'm about to get this wrong. Damn it. 1781.
No.
Damn it. I second guessed myself.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
Just absolute shot in the dark. 1747.
No.
Of course.
1783.
No.
What? Seriously?
You ruined my night completely so
1786.
No.
Of course.
One more guess each?
1791.
No.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
1777.
No. 1789.
Oh.
Question 5. How old is the Queen?
Ooh.
Do you say this one's still closest ones? Or
Nah.
not closest ones?
No.
Age, I think, is a bit.
Peace. Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
Is she like 92?
No.
Of course.
I think she's 93.
93 is right.
Oh,
Yeah.
for goodness
She's
sake.
94 this
Come
year,
on.
yeah. Sorry, Alex.
So that's 3-1 to Robin. Question number 6. In
Sorry.
in the movie Braveheart,
Yeah.
which Scottish knight does Mel Gibson play?
Peace. Dear Lord.
William Wallace.
William Wallace.
There you go.
Yes.
There you
3-2.
go.
Nice one. Question number. I've never seen it actually.
Really?
Seen Braveheart.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, there's some
You got-
films you just
sit-
haven't seen that are
Yeah.
quite.
You should sit down and watch
Popular.
it. It's worth it.
Have you been told that it's not historically accurate though?
I have been told that many a time.
Everybody.
We get it now, guys. We know.
Question number 7, 3-2 to Robin. Which sea separates Ireland and mainland Great Britain?
Of course.
The Irish.
The
Sea.
Irish Sea. Hey.
Hey.
Of course.
Of course.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
4-2. Very good.
Oh, this is a
Question
tricky question.
number 8. The saying goes that Rome wasn't built in a day, which of course is true. But when, according to legend, was Rome built? Closest wins.
When was Rome built?
That is a wow. Yeah.
There's a legend about two brothers who
Yep.
Romulus and
built Rome.
Remus.
When-
Romulus and Remus,
Romulus
actually.
Remus,
Yeah.
And there's
They
a
get a point for
date.
that.
There's a date attached to the when they. Ooh.
Like an actual date, like we would recognize it, or is it like, you know, when the sun sets?
No,
in
no,
the
an
west?
actual.
Okay.
I've gone for year.
Okay.
There is an actual date, but I've gone for year.
Of course.
I think you got it.
Was it 1000 BC?
Okay.
I was going to say that, so I'll go for 1500 BC.
Alex wins. It's 753 BC.
You're kidding.
There we go.
Question 9.
Okay.
The French phrase "Il n'y a pas de fumée sans feu" translates to what common saying in English? Apologies for my
There's no
pronunciation.
smoke without fire.
Boom. No smoke without fire.
Yeah.
You got that from what he just said.
Sadly, yeah.
Il n'y a pas de fumée sans feu.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Il n'y
I
a
got it that
pas.
second time.
There is
Pas de
no
fumée sans
Il n'y a
feu.
pas.
fumée.
Fumes, yeah.
Yeah.
Smoke
Sans feu.
without the fire.
I mean, there's
For-
going to be French
for
people
sure.
watching this, I'm sure. At least someone who speaks a little bit of French. Who
Better French than we
knows
do,
that
yeah.
sort of form.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well done. 5-3. Question 10. Oh no, Alex, it's happened again.
You can get it.
What's
you can
going
get it
on?
back.
No,
This
I
one's
can't.
worth-
I can't get it back. That's not how the quiz works, Robin. I've lost.
Question 10. What connects all of these questions?
Oh.
French Revolution.
French phrase, smoke without fire.
Rome. Dates. What else was there? William
Queen's
Wallace.
age.
Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
No, I haven't got it. I haven't got it. It's something like royalty or revolution. No. Ro- I don't know.
Oh.
Of course.
It's Six Nations.
They involve teams in the Six Nations.
Nice. Nicely done. Wales wasn't very heavily featured.
No, well, I didn't know
Yeah.
what the feature was. No.
So Six Nations apart from Wales.
Yeah.
Great.
Bonus
Great
question?
stuff.
Do you
That
want
was
the
great.
So
that
the
was
reason
great.
why I've lost this quiz is again because it was themed around the Six Nations.
Well done, sir. That was a good performance.
Well, if you love the Six Nations, you're going to love the bonus question. What year did Italy join the Five Nations to make it the Six Nations?
Are you very happy?
1996.
Okay.
Martin.
Of course.
2003. It wasn't, but
Robin is closer. It's 2000.
oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, actually, it's February 2000. Oh no, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Ridiculous.
I don't think
Yeah,
you'd be able to get that
ridiculous.
one, but that was
Ridiculous.
good to know. Good to know.
No, to be fair, if you thought of all the different countries, you can be like Six Nations rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah, see that wouldn't have caught on in my mind.
No,
Sadly.
it wouldn't have been the first thing you went to.
No.
Anyway, well done, Robin.
Well done,
Well
Robin.
done, Martin.
Good win,
Great quiz,
100%
great quiz.
still.
Well, I've only been in 3. Let's
Well,
give
still
it
good.
time. Give it time.
Very good.
I'm sadly not doing great. I think I'm going to have to up my
gonna be
quiz
revising.
questions
The only way is up, Alex.
next time.
The only way is up.
Don't patronize me. I am this close to storming out again.
Oh, well, thank you guys. And thank you so much for watching at home. If you want more of us, then please head on over to our Patreon page where we have exclusive behind the scenes content. We have other episodes of us talking about other things as well.
Yeah,
we do talk
yeah.
about other things. So yeah, feel free to head on over there.
Yeah, and if you're listening to us on any podcast platform, please give us a review or rating because it really helps us to know exactly how we're doing. And of course, it helps us in getting traffic, I think.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think it helps
it
out.
does,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please
Thanks,
do.
guys.
And thank you for listening. And to our Patreon supporters, thank you for supporting us. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.